Yo, yo, Mixed by Gabriel here from MBG Studios, and today I am talking about the evolution of a song. How a song is created, who's involved, what different services or types of people do you want to bring in the journey, and how it usually is formed and formatted in the right way and done properly. So, typically, a song starts with a songwriter and a producer involved. Typically, this could mean starting from complete scratch, meaning they're building a chord progression or a guitar idea and literally building it from the ground up. This could be also having the beat already and just writing to it with a songwriter. Typically speaking, artists these days are getting help from writers, meaning there's people whose job it is to be really good at extracting emotion and feelings from an artist and help them communicate to the listener that feeling and that what they're going through. So there's literally people whose job it is to focus on that. And I would emphasize that it would probably be smart to bare minimum collab with someone who just does that and give them a percentage of the song. Bare minimum. Because why not? Why would you not want to try the best with your song, right? It's coming from the heart. It's your true art. You should include people that, have those strategies and that mindset and that experience to take you there. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you're the artist and you're the brand. No one's going to take that from you, but it's cool to have people that just do one thing, who are really good at that one thing. It's important to remember that as an artist, you can't do everything yourself. You're not supposed to be able to do everything yourself. So typically, you would go from that stage into recording. And that's where you would come to a recording studio, such as MBG Studios, the best in the business. Come get right. And you would work one-on-one with an audio engineer, tracking your vocals. Now, this can go a couple ways. When you come to a place like MBG Studios, all of our engineers, including myself, are taught in a different realm than most, meaning we have to do with the vocal production. So we're giving tips, insights, whether on the vocal performance in front of the mic or on the pitch, on the timing, etc. So I would also emphasize working with a good audio engineer during the tracking phase, because that could give you different angles and different insights on making the song better through that process. Even though you're past the songwriting, something will come of during that process, and you might think of a new idea or tweak something accordingly off another person's angle. So from that, you take that production, that recording that you guys finalize and finish and agree on to a mixing engineer. And that mixing engineer's job is to take it typically, unless it's a completely blank surface, meaning there wasn't too much printed into the demo, meaning like levels or balances or effects or like nothing was, there wasn't a lot of pre-production or post-production done, right? That would mean the mixing engineer is kind of putting more of him into the record, and he's taking the record forward from his opinion and his ears and his experience, meaning there is no really set way that the artist specifically wants it, and they're coming to that engineer for their experience and smarts. The other direction is they can give me a starting point. That's usually how this works when you're working with a good team. You usually get to a good point of liking the record and doing cool things with it with an experienced professional team around you, and you want to keep that because you spent a lot of time on that, and that makes sense. So it's my job to take that guidance, that insight from the producers and the songwriters, and figure out what they liked within that demo, and take the demo and bring it up a level while also bringing my thoughts and ideas to the table. This could be anything from filtering all the way to doing echoes or delays, and even picking the aesthetic choices of the EQ or the compressor, because all these things enhance the tone of, or shape the tone of sounds. So that's essentially what a mixing engineer would do. He's basically low-key, high-key, a producer, essentially, because he is changing the aesthetics of the song to be better and taking what you guys did and making those ideas better, because that's all he does, right? Then from there, you want to go to a mastering studio, and typically the mixing and mastering studio are completely separate studios, and they're not typically they don't have nothing to do with each other. They're typically like two separate entities. And then the mixing engineer and mastering engineer would talk and communicate the tone, the style that was communicated from the artist, because that's still intact and needs to be communicated in the next phase. So you just emphasize what the artist liked, and what they wanted and what you think is a good, good thoughts moving forward on the record. Like, let's say, it was a little bit bright on my version. I think we could go a little bit darker, you know what I mean, as an example on how to say something to a mastering engineer. Or I think we can just get it a little bit hotter without ruining the dynamics. Can you help me with that? So that is, in a nutshell, the full evolution of a song. And then it goes, like I said, from mastering. At that point, it's ready for distribution. And then you would have a talk with someone like me or someone else who's experienced in the music business, who has worked with artists one-on-one or has managed artists or helped put together businesses in the music space. And you'll come up with a strategy on marketing it and releasing it properly. If you don't do all of these steps in line, at least to the best of ability you can and your resources, you are setting yourself up for failure. And you're not doing right by your art and your music to actually put a good effort into making it work for you. Mixed by Gabriel, MBG Studios.